This is What's Up with Giancarlo. Hello again, class. This video will be going over the Module 1 quiz review. Okay? So, starting off with number 1. We've got x plus 3 equals 7. So, we need to get x all by itself to figure out what x is. So we have to do the opposite of what's in the problem. So we see addition, we are going to subtract 3 from both sides to keep it even, okay? So we get x all by itself because these cancel out, and then 7 minus 3 equals 4. If you want to check, you plug in 4 for x, you get 4 plus 3 equals 7, 7 equals 7. Perfecto. Check a mark, okay? Moving on to number 2. We've got x over 5 equals negative 3. Okay, so we're doing the same exact thing. So we've got division in the problem, okay? So we have to do the opposite. Therefore, we are going to multiply both sides by 5, okay? Multiply both sides by 5. That's going to keep it equal. We're going to cross simplify, so that makes it a 1, that makes it a 1, and then we have x all by itself equals negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. You want to plug it in, you get negative 15 over 5 equals negative 3. 15 divided by 5 is 3, and there's one negative, so it will be negative. Negative 3 equals negative 3. Check mark. Perfecto. Okay, moving on to number 3. Number 3 says negative 3/4 x equals 9. So class, for this one, we've got multiplication, okay? But we've got a fraction here. So to do the opposite, we have to divide. So how do we divide fractions? Keep, change, flip, KCF, okay? So I'm going to end up multiplying instead of dividing because we're keeping the negative 3/4. We're changing division to multiplication, and then we're flipping the 3/4. So it's going to be negative 4/3. Negative, negative makes it positive. These cross out and make 1s. These cross out and make 1s. Because we're cross simplifying, x is all by itself. Then we're going to multiply 9 times negative 4/3. Make sure you put parentheses so you don't confuse it by subtracting. So I am going to cross simplify, make this a 3, and make this a 1. Then I get 3 times 4, and that equals 12. And there's one negative, so it will be negative 12. Plug that in, I get negative 3/4 times 12. Okay, so equals 9. So cross simplify, that turns into 3, that turns into 1, negative 3, oh, that's a negative 12. Negative 3 times negative 3 equals positive 9. Check mark. We're good to go, okay? This is something simple that you guys can do for every single problem. Just plug it back in and help you solve your answer. Check your answer. Moving on to number 4. Number 4 states negative 7/8 x equals negative 21/64. Once again, class, this is a fraction and it's multiplication in the original problem, in the original equation, okay? Therefore, we have to do the opposite to solve it, which is division. So to divide fractions, we have to change to make it multiplication, and then we have to flip. Okay? Nope. Everybody makes mistakes. But you got to make sure you catch it like I did. So you flip it. Okay? Like I said, they cross out, we get x all by itself. All right? Now we're going to multiply this by negative 8 over 7 also. Remember parentheses so you don't think it's minus 8 over 7. So they made it very easy for us. 21 turns into 3 because the GCF of 21 and 7 is 7, so we divide them both by 7. And then 8 and 64, the GCF is 8, so we cross that out, make it a 1. We cross the 64 out, make it an 8. And then we end up with negative 3 over 8. Okay? Let's try this out. So negative 7 over 8 times, so that should be a positive. That's a positive. So just erase it. We don't need to put the plus sign. So negative 7 over 8 multiplied by 3 over 8 equals negative 21 over 64. Let's work this out. 7 times 3 is 21. There's only one negative, so it's going to be negative, by the way. And then 8 times 8, 64. Is that what you had? Yes, it is. Check mark. We're doing just fine. Moving on. Número 5. Okay, this could be a little toughy one, but I'm pretty sure everybody got it. So we've got 6 minus x equals negative 6. So this is a positive 6. So to get x alone on the other side, to get this 6 on the other side, we're going to have to subtract it. All right? So both sides, this is going to end up being adding a negative 6 to this side. So we get negative x, because we keep change. Negative x equals negative 12. Okay? Negative 6 and negative 6 makes negative 12. So we can't have a negative variable, class. So what we're going to do, multiply by negative 1. And bingo bango, x equals 12. So now we plug it in. 6 minus 12 equals negative 12. Negative 6. When you work that out, negative 6 equals negative 6. Check mark, and we're good to move on. Número 6. We've got 46 equals negative 6t minus 8. We have subtraction, so we have to do the opposite on both sides. To both sides, we're going to add 8 to both sides. That'll give me negative 6t on this side. 46 plus 8 will be 54. Now, to get t all by itself, divide, since it's multiplication, we have to do the opposite. We're going to divide each side by negative 6. That is going to give me negative 9 equals t. Plug that back in. Negative 6 times negative 9 minus 8 equals 46. So we have to do the multiplication first because PEMDAS. So negative 6 times negative 9, that's going to give me a positive 54 minus 8. And then 54 minus 8 is 46. So 46 equals 46. Bingo bango. Moving on to the next question. 7. We've got 3.7 x equals negative 4.44. So we've got multiplication. We're going to divide. So we divide both sides by 3.7. So 3.7 over 3.7 equals 1, so we just leave x by itself. So I hope everybody remembers that when we do long division to solve this, top goes on the inside, bottom goes on the outside. Okay? So we put 4.44, negative 4.44, and then 3.7. Along with the top on the inside, bottom on the outside, I hope everyone remembered that we cannot divide with the decimal on the outside. So we have to move the decimals. I just like rewriting it all together. So I put 37, negative 44.4. Remember, the decimal goes straight up. Don't want to forget that. Our answer is going to be negative because there's only one negative. 37 goes into 44 one time. Forget the negative for right now. 44 minus 37 will be 7. And then bring down the 4. 74. 37 goes into 74 twice. 0. Perfect. My answer will be negative 1.2. You want to plug that in. 3.7 times negative 1.2 equals negative 4.44. When you work it out, you get negative 4.44 equals negative 4.44. Check mark. Moving on to the next problem. That'll leave us with 8. So we've got 15. 15 equals x over 15. So we've got division in our equation, in our original equation, so we're going to solve by multiplying. Multiply by 15 to both sides. These are going to simplify to 1, so x is all by itself. Then we do 15 times 15. We get 15 times 15. 5 times 5, 25. Carry the 2. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 2 is 75. My placeholder is 0. Do not want to forget that, class. You do not want to forget that. And then 1 times 15 is 15. Okay? So, add them together. I get 5. 7 plus 5 is 12. Put the 2, carry the 1, 2. My answer is 225. You want to plug it in. 225 divided by 15. You get 15 equals 15. Dun, da, da, da. Check mark. Moving on to the next problem, class. Number 9. Number 9 is b over 9. That looks like a G. I meant to do, erase that better. Okay. I meant to do a 9 minus 34 equals negative 36. Okay? So to start off, we're going to do addition because this is subtraction, so we have to do the opposite. Add 34. Add 34. That'll give me b over 9. B over 9 equals, this is a negative 36, positive 34, so we're going to have negative 2. Now, we are going to multiply, because this is division, we have to do the opposite. So we multiply by 9, both sides. These will simplify. I get b all by itself. Negative 2 times 9 will be negative 18. There is one negative, therefore answer will be negative. 2 times 9 is 18. So I get negative 18 divided by 9 minus 34 equals negative 36. So simplify. Negative 18 divided by 9 is negative 2 minus 34. Put them together. Keep change. It's going to equal negative 36 equals negative 36. That earns us a check mark, and we're moving on to the next problem. Number 10, class. We've got negative 8x plus 7 equals negative 9. So we are going to subtract because this is addition, we do the opposite, both sides. It's going to give me negative 8x equals negative 16. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 8 because that's doing the opposite. That's multiplication, so we do the opposite. X equals positive 2 because there's two negatives. Two negatives makes a positive. So let's go back and check this. We've got negative 8 times 2 plus 7 equals negative 9. So negative 8 times 2 is negative 16 plus 7 equals negative 9. Negative 16 plus 7 is negative 9, and that equals negative 9. There it is. Moving on to the next question. Number 11. We've got 2 plus 1/6 a equals negative 4. So this is a positive 2. We're going to have to subtract to get rid of it. So we have to subtract 2 to both sides. That's going to give me 1/6 a equals negative 6. So we have to, this is multiplication. We're going to have to divide. It's a fraction though. So we have to keep, change, flip. Keep the 1/6, change it to multiplication, flip it. All right? So really it's just 6 over 1, but it's really just 6. So these will simplify, so we get a all by itself, and then negative 6 times 6 will be negative 36. All right? Let's plug it in. We've got 2 plus 1/6 times negative 36 equals negative 4. So 1/6 of negative 36 will be negative 6 plus 2. Combine these terms, you'll get negative 4 equals negative 4. And we're done with that one because we got the check mark. Let's go. Moving on to 12. Moving down the road. So we've got negative 5x plus 8 equals negative 2. So addition, we're going to subtract then. So we've got negative 5x equals negative 10. We've got multiplication. I'm going to divide. X equals positive 2 because we have two negatives. Let's check this out. Negative 5 times 2 plus 8 equals negative 2. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10 plus 8. Negative 10 and 8 combine to negative 2. Negative 2. Check mark. Next question. 13. Negative 2 plus 2/3 x equals 10. So we've got a negative 2. That means we got to add it to the other side. All right? They cancel out. We get 2/3 x equals 10 plus 2 is 12. Multiplication, but it's a fraction. Okay? So we do the opposite, which is division, but fraction makes it keep, change, flip. Keep the 2/3, change it to multiplication, flip the 2/3 to make it 3 over 2. Same thing over here. So these cancel out, these cancel out. Well, they simplify. We get x all by itself. I'm going to simplify to make this, the GCF of these two would be 2. So that becomes a 1. This 12 becomes a 6. 6 times 3 is 18. Okay? So I've got, try this out. I've got negative 2 excuse me, class. I've got negative 2 plus 2/3 times 18 equals 10. So 2/3 of 18 is 12 plus negative 2 equals 10. So combine these, we get 10 equals 10. Checkity mark. Let's go. Moving on to 14. We've got 4x plus 3.5 equals 12.5. So we're gonna subtract, because this is addition, 3.5 minus 3.5. We get 4x equals, subtract the 5s, it's going to get 9. So divide both sides by 4, get x equals 9/4, or 2 1/4. Or it's in decimals, so you'll get 2.25. Plug that in. 4 times 2.25 plus 3.5 equals 12.5. So 4 times 2.25 will equal 9 plus 3.5 equals 12.5. When you combine these, you get 12.5 equals 12.5. Check mark, ready to move on. And last but not least, we've got 2 parentheses x plus 8 equals negative 8. I just had to throw in a distribution problem, class. So we're going to distribute the 2 to the x and the 2 to the 8, so we get 2x plus 16 equals negative 8. I'm going to subtract because it's adding, addition. So subtract 16 from both sides. I get 2x. We're really going to add them. So it's negative 8 and negative 16 together would be negative 24. Divide both sides by 2 because it's multiplication. We do the opposite. We get x equals negative 12. So let's plug this in. 2 negative 12 plus 8 equals negative 8. So in parentheses, we can just work it out. That would be negative 4. 2. Ooh, that's negative. 2 times negative 4 will be negative 8. Negative 8. That's the check mark. Checking your work is very important, class. Everybody should be putting in the effort that I put in. I already know all this stuff. I'm doing this so you guys can learn how to do it, okay? I hope everybody understood. I hope everybody understands. And remember, if you're watching this, you're a part of the class.